Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Wednesday, October 23rd, as we start the last week of the fall meet at Keeneland. I'm Tom Leach, and Jim Goodman is alongside for our In the Money podcast. As we're going to take a look at the late pick four. No stakes race on the Wednesday card, just one stakes race left coming up on Saturday. So Jim will jump in the fifth race with a non-winners of two lifetime claimer. They're going 6 furlongs in here and full field. So who do you like?
I like Nice of Me, the 7-horse for Corey Lannery. I like the jock change. Declan Carroll is an apprentice and is a nice rider, but Corey's been riding really well. This horse comes from out of it, and it's the kind of horse that Corey will probably get over the rail and make a big move inside. And the horse is dropping from 30 down to 20. Ignacio Correas is 2 for 14 for the meet, so he's spotting his horses okay. And this horse comes off a nice effort at Churchill with Carroll, and I just think Corey Lannery puts this one over the top, and I'm going to pick him on top. We'll get to pick 4. I'm going to use McLean Robertson's horse, Runaway Wind, the 2-horse for Santana, who's riding better now at the meet, and then Lontani for Jimmy Graham and Tom Amos. Horse was very competitive at this level with Churchill down, shortening up from 6.5 to 6, and taking the blinkers off. So I'm going to stick with 3 in the pick 4 here when we get to it, but Nice of Me for Corey Lannery and Ignacio Correas is my pick in the 5th race. That's
who I ended up on as well, on the class drop from the race over at Churchill, and I think he looks really good in the spot. If Zipto draws in, I think that one's one I want to use on the ticket. Spyro Gyro, the 12, I thought caught a tough field the last time, so I'm going to throw him in. Sea Shark doesn't look like a lot on paper, but has a race over the track, and I've often seen horses make a big improvement with that race over the track in the spring and in the fall. So I'm going to throw that one into the mix, and then Vitsal, the 3, is my other one. But I like Nice of Me in there, as do you. In the allowance, 6 races, an allowance for non-winners of 4 is the condition. It's a tough allowance. 5.5 furlongs on the turf. You get stakes horses in here, like my pick, Bound for Nowhere, for Wesley Ward. This horse has run some of his best races on this track, so I think he's got a big shot, and Wesley does great work with these sprinters on the turf. Bulletin won the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint as a 2-year-old, and tried the dirt last time. I think it's going to be much improved coming back to the main track, or back to the turf track here, his preferred surface. If you want to go deeper, a lot of back class for undrafted. Farik lost the last time, but had a nice winning streak before, so certainly is in good form. But I think I'm probably going to stick with the top 2 when we get to the pick 4. How about you?
Yeah, your top 2 are my top 2 as well, and I think Bulletin has a big shot on the inside after trying the dirt in the Gallant Bob at Parks. I don't understand that. I guess they thought just to give it a shot to see, but I think he stays on the turf, and I think he's got a big shot in here. But Bound for Nowhere, if he's ready for Wesley Ward, has the back class off that Shakertown race here at 5.5 furlongs in the spring, only lost by a neck. So those are my top 2. I'm going to throw in Smart Remark, the 9-horse for Vicki Oliver. She had a win the other day, and she usually sneaks up and gets a couple wins in this meet. And off that Kentucky Downs race back in September, and then you talk about a horse over the track. This horse ran the Woodford, and they're bringing him back on just a little less than 3 weeks rest. But he had trouble to start and didn't really get into that race. I don't think that took much out of him. So I think Smart Remark's got a shot here. And the top 2 are going to get a lot of play, so you might get 8-1, 9-1 Smart Remark. So I'm going to use those 3. If I had to pick a winner, I'd take Bulletin for the inside.
7th race, non-winners of 2 other than at 6.5 furlongs on the main track. How do you see that one, Jim?
Well, I done deal the 1-horse dropping for Ian Wilkes. Ian's only won one race at the meet, but he has his horses in good spots, so he's gotten their money a lot. So Landero's taking that when they're dropping it from 150,000 claimer down to 62.5. So I think that horse has a shot. I like the 5-horse Control Stake for Greg Foley, and the 8-horse Hunk of Burning Love for Carl Broberg. This horse has a big shot. Carl Broberg is 27% first off the claim, 27% overall. So he knows where to put them, and he doesn't have many horses here at Keeneland. He claimed this off Michael Tomlinson and runs it back, moves it up from 50 to 62.5. And seems like Brian Hernandez, he's only won 3 races at the meet, and I think he's beaten me out of pick 3s and pick 4s every time he's run. So I'm going to throw him in here because I think he's got a nice mount here in Hunker Burning Love. So those are the 3 I'm going to use in the pick 4. Probably take Hunker Burning Love for the win.
Yeah, that's who I went to. I like that last race. Nice speed figure. And the horse has won twice at Keeneland with a second and a third from 5 starts. So he likes the track. And you mentioned the numbers on the trainer, Broberg. All those things, I think a lot to like on Hunker Burning Love. 7-2 on the morning line. Done Deal was my second pick. I think on the class drop certainly has a big shot in here. Has shown good speed, so that will help from the rail. And those were nice horses that he's been running against. So he's definitely the one to beat. Frolic More, I'm going to throw in. This horse is the only 3-year-old in the field, and they could have run against straight 3-year-olds last weekend. And Dallas Stewart elected to go here, and we talked to him, and he said the reason was he gets an extra half furlong, and I think probably the horse is going to be is best at probably 7 or a mile. So, but he could be running late, and you get Lannery, and you said he's been riding well, so I'm going to throw that one in there just in case. Al Khatam for Pites, cuts back from a 2-turn race. Has some speed to be up close, so I'm going to give that one a shot. Control Stake, I'm going to look at as well. I don't think I'll use all these on my pick 4, but these are just ones that I think have a shot. That this horse only got beat Control Stake by 2.5 lengths by Hunker Burning Love last time, but he's been second 16 times and won 6, so not a great horse that you want to use in pick 3s and pick 4s. So I'm going to lean on Hunker Burning Love for the win and probably go 3 deep on the pick 4. Last race we'll get to is also an allowance. This is a nice card, big fields. There's no stake, but it's a really good card for horse players. And this one's another full field with non-winners of one other than, going 1 mile and 3/16 on the turf. My top pick needs to draw in, and that's Bluegrass Parkway. He's 2 out on the also eligible list, but last time out off a layoff, just lost by a half length up at Belmont Park. Ran his best speed figure, so it was a 3-year-old coming off a layoff that runs his best speed figure. Kept some really good company in the spring. Has won here before, real impressively. So if this horse gets in, I think he's got a big shot. If he doesn't, then the next one I went to was the favorite in here from the Correas barn, Bundy Bunnin, I guess, at 8-5. Horse comes out of a tough field, Social Paranoia and others down at Kentucky Downs. So that's a graded stakes level competition, even though there wasn't a grade on it. And then prior to that, he was in a grade 3 and only got beat a couple of lengths. So got to use that one on the ticket. Preacher Power, I'm going to end up going really deep in here. Preacher Power, I think, has run well here before. Actually, in 3 starts, has never been off the board. So I think that horse has a shot to be in the mix. Job Security, coming off a layoff, had a nice effort and ran second down at Churchill on the main track, but does have a turf start and has a turf pedigree, so I think could certainly handle it. Stage Ready is one to look at. Nice race last time at 1 mile and an 1/8 at Churchill. Was really closing down the lane for Mena, who rides back. He's now ridden this horse 4 times in a row, so he obviously sees something he likes. And then Split the Wickets, I thought, comes out of that same race as Stage Ready and beat about half the field and just has a couple of, he had a 1 mile and 1/8 race last time, 1 mile and 5/16 previously. So the horse should have a nice, strong foundation. Thomas Vanberg's only run a couple of horses at the meet, but they've run pretty well. So I'm going to consider that one as well. So I'm going to go deep when we get to our pick 4 tickets. But Bluegrass Parkway on top. How about you?
Yeah, I like all the horses that you mentioned. We're on the same page today for some reason. Bundy Bunnin, if that's the way you pronounce it, for Correas, I think is going to be the favorite for Lannery off that really good race at Kentucky Downs. But I'm going to go deep in here as well with Stage Ready for Ron Moquette, who needs to get off the schneid. He always wins a couple at Keeneland. He's 0 for 9 going into this race. Job Security for Neil Pessin. Preacher Power for Keneally. And Bluegrass Parkway, if he draws in, obviously is a must-use. I'm also going to use a horse that you didn't mention, Jay Burstford Tipton, for Delacour. Only has 3 lifetime starts, so a lot of upside there. And ran at Belmont in a 1.25 mile race against Bluegrass Parkway and only lost to that one by a length. So I think that horse you got to reuse as well. And Jay Burstford Tipton, I'm going to age myself here. I think was that the name of the guy in The Millionaire that gave away all the money?
Oh gosh,
you're not as old as I am, Tom, but I think
you got me on that one.
Well, that's back in the '60s, so I just barely remember it. But I think Jay Burstford Tipton was the name of the guy who gave $1 million to strangers. So that's a trivia question answer. I think that's correct. I think this race is wide open, so I'm going to go 5 deep when we get to the Pick 4.
Well, let's get to the Pick 4. Starting in race 5, I'm going to go the ticket. My ticket's going to be $90, but I have a couple of also eligibles on this, so I think that'll scratch down to a cheaper ticket. So first leg, 5 deep, 3, 7, 9, 12, 13. Just going to stand with the top 2 in the 6th race, Bound for Nowhere in Bulletin, 1 and 11, or 11 and 1. 1, 7, and 8 in the 3rd leg. Wish I could probably go a little deeper there, but the last leg I'm going 6 deep, 5, 6, 7, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, 14. So, again, $90 ticket if all of those run, but I suspect there'll be at least a couple of scratches, maybe those also eligibles, and that'll pare the ticket down. How about you?
Mine's a little bit cheaper, but not much. I couldn't find a single in this sequence. My closest one would have been Bulletin, but I can't take the Wesley Ward out. So I'm going to go 2, 5, 7 with 1, 9, 11, with 1, 5, 8, and then 5 deep in the end with 3, 6, 7, 10, 11. If the 14 does draw in, I would use that horse as well. So I would have to increase the ticket. But at that, 3 by 3 by 3 by 5 is 67.50 cents.
Best of luck with your wagers on the Wednesday card. We'll be back for another edition of the In the Money podcast for Thursday here at KeenelandSelect.com.